again. I'm in the same dress. Yes, because I've been in the same dress for 2 days. I didn't want to take the time to change it because taking my suitcase into the house where I was staying at my brother's, it was like I couldn't carry it, and I didn't want to bother him. My God, he just drove 6 hours. I try not to inconvenience people. I've been doing things for myself for 16 years. But if anyone ever wants to go on a little vacation and have a ball, go and stay at Saratoga, New York. Just walk around the town, check out the stores. I did a couple videos of my brother driving through town. We did not see one speck of trash. The town looked like it was just placed there. All the little buildings, no one really lived there. It looked just unreal. And the buildings are just as spectacular as the ones in New York City. And of course, spend a day at the races. I mean, everybody loves that. But if you're into horse racing, I would go to one of the little stores that looks like 7-Elevens. I forgot now what they call it. But you could get the program a day early. Of course, you're going to pay a little bit more, and then you can study the horses. But from everything I know about horses, you're better off just taking a dart and just throwing one and just boxing that horse with another horse. Yeah. Horse racing is very fickle. You have to take, are they on a dirt track, into account? Have they all only, raced in when it was raining? Have they had an injury since the last race? Some horses will do really, really good and then fade out. And some of them will do the opposite. And I'm sure that there are computers out there that can compute these things I'm talking about. Now, I only go to the races maybe 3 times a year. And I have a budget of $50. That's it. And once that's gone, I leave. And my father took all of us to the races when we were little. Because back in the 60s and 50s, they didn't have those age requirements, about going up to the window. But I wanted to talk about alcoholism. Alcoholism seems to be a huge problem in my family and in everybody else's family. And the only thing you can do about it is ignore it. The minute you start telling an alcoholic not to drink, he's going to drink more. And just because an alcoholic quits drinking, he's still an alcoholic. Don't think any different. But the things you can do is don't let him have access to the car keys. Hide them. Don't give him any money if you can help it. I know some people in my family that would steal your car to go get a 6-pack of beer. So no one could ever leave their keys laying around, and hell no, you couldn't leave any money. But one of my employees that I always talk about, that every time I see him, he starts crying. And my son had to take him to the hospital yesterday. Now he's the type that drinks like a case of beer every night, but he does go to work in the morning. His eyes are turned yellow. I'm sure he's got a fatty liver. He's probably near death's door. And this is an Hispanic that has lived on my farm when I was married to my husband. He was like our caretaker. We had a couple other Hispanics live with us who did various things around our estate. We had a lot of land and we had to have lots of help. And I'm the one that always cut the grass on the bush hog or with the skag, which took all day, like 9 hours. But we would find this gentleman drunk in our front yard after he'd been working in the garden or something, and so we knew from day one he was a severe alcoholic. Now, my son took him to the doctor because on his leg, in a matter of 10 minutes, this big bump size of a baseball just showed up. And my son knows that I work at a pharmacy, and he knows that, you know, I've had Lyme disease, and he knows my little sister's had Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And so I know a lot about bugs because I took entomology in college. He says, Mom, what do you think's happening? I said, is it red? He says, no, it was just swollen but not red. I said, well, if it's got the bullseye around the area, that is a very good indication of Lyme. He said, no, Mom, no bullseye. I said, well, you got to watch out for the brown recluse because that one will eat at your flesh. And he didn't have any of those traits, but he did say that this worker who's been with us for 20 years, his eyes had turned totally yellow. So I think he could be at the end stages of, I guess it's called liver disease. I'm not sure. Maybe anybody out there in YouTube land can help me or my son. Now I said to my son, if this thing swelled up in 10 minutes, it could be an aneurysm or a blood vein or something about is busted or whatever. I said, take him to the hospital, and they did. And he's been like a member of our family. I'm telling you, I mean, he's actually learned English. We gave him a home to live in. So I'll give you all an update on him. He's a cute little guy. Let me get a drink of this. So it was good that this is happening. Lets everybody there on that job site know that alcohol will kill you. Alcohol put a big separation between me and the guy I was dating for the last 3 years. He would put a Budweiser can full in my golf cart and drive around town. And after the third time I saw that, I said, oh no, you don't respect my property, you're not going to drive my property. So I took the golf cart keys from him, because that is wrong on so many levels. Because the golf cart can be impounded, and he could get a DUI on a golf cart. Don't think that the cops can't do that. And then I noticed while dating him, he was always leaving. Like, well, I got to go now. And out of nowhere, he's standing there. Well, where the hell's he going? And then he would only be gone for like 10 or 15 minutes. You can imagine what he was doing. So, this is the sad thing. And I might get a lot of bad karma or bad comments, but people who have been drinking for a long time, it does something to their brain. They are never the same. They may get a little bit better. They may think a little bit clearer, but their emotional intelligence is very much stunted. I can name 10 people right now off the top of my head who that just ain't right after drinking themselves almost to death. Yeah. So it has affected everybody. I mean, this is a big reason why people get divorces. It's all about the alcohol and the drugs. Anytime a cop's pulled me over, he thinks I'm high or drunk just because I'm happy. And I have to take a breathalyzer. And I said, sir, it's going to come up 0. And it would. And he still didn't believe it. I said, go get your sergeant. I blow to 0. I said, there is no beer in my car. I don't have any beer on my breath. And I blow a 0. I guess they're just never met a woman that is just happy. You know, it's just my personality. I don't know. So, if you've got an addict in your house, an addict, and someone addicted, my advice to you is get all your jewelry. It's a shame you have to do this, but you do. Get all your jewelry, take it to the bank, get a safe deposit box. because I guarantee you it will be hawked sooner or later. Never leave cash laying around. Never. And you don't call in sick for them if they're hungover the next morning. No, you've got to let them fall. You have to let them hit the bottom of their elevator, or they're not going to come out of it. A lot of people are angry drunks, and me, I always say, I always like to get like plastered at least twice a year. I just think it gets all my yah-yahs out. But I haven't woke up with a hangover in years. And I know some people go out partying all night, still stop at the 7-Eleven, pick up another 6-pack. Now that is a big danger right there. But I can name many accidents where alcohol was the cause. Someone I know's brother was drinking and killed a family. Yeah. My own girlfriend, her sister and her husband was on a motorcycle coming home, and an attorney killed them both. And he was on his second DUI, I do believe. This is, a lot of people have lost their wives, their children. I used to sit in the courtroom for Mothers Against Drunk Drivers and make sure that the judge was handing down a proper sentence and wasn't just slapping these guys on the hand or these girls. I think sometimes the judges give more of a sentence to someone who writes a $5 bad check, So I am going, like I said, I'm going to go home and rest. Yeah. But, never enable anybody with an addiction. You are feeding that addiction. And don't bitch about it to them. That goes in this ear and out that one. You just become the bitch. I never had problems with my husband when I was married for 4 decades. Never, ever. Thank God. Never, ever had a problem. We had problems with when I'd have pool parties, and there'd always be some dumbass jerk that had to get drunk and ruin it for everybody else. You spend all that money for a party. I used to buy so much liquor that I'd have to get a permit to bring it out of one county into another. I kid you not, because I had some really good Christmas parties and pool parties, but it became dangerous because, now they can sentence the person that was feeding them the beer if they've had too much and they get in their car. So, we kind of stopped all that. I guess it would be different if they all stayed in your house all night. Well, thanks for listening to me rant about this, but yes, alcoholism is serious.